Hey everybody, welcome back. This one is going to be a bit of a dive into history and its influence on one of the most profound concepts in all of Star Trek, and that is General Order 1, also known as the Prime Directive.
Someday, my people are going to come up with some sort of a doctrine, something that tells us what we can and can't do out here, could and shouldn't do. But until somebody tells me that they've drafted that directive, I'm going to have to remind myself every day that we didn't come out here to play God.
This is all speculation and opinion on my part. There's nothing I've read that backs up what I'm positing. All I have is episodes such as the Omega Glory with Captain Kirk staring wistfully at the American flag before departing the planet. Let me set the scene. It is the last quarter of the Omega Glory. Cloud William begins reading poorly from the sacred text. Captain Kirk interrupts him. The crowd falls silent, amazed that this unknown man would know their holy text.
These words and the words that follow were not written only for the Yang. Comms as well.
Comms.
They must apply to everyone, or they mean nothing. Do you understand?
Do not fully understand. One named Kirk. The holy words will be obeyed. I swear it.
I'm willing to bet everybody that was in the production staff and even the cast itself was classically educated, meaning they were deeply educated about Greco-Roman culture, politics, military, mythology. They were well versed and educated in American principles and history and drew upon those learned lessons to craft the original Star Trek. And nowhere is that more evident, more obvious, more in your face than in 1796, President Washington's farewell address. In 1796, George Washington delivered his famous farewell address. His farewell address covered a variety of topics for Americans. One of them, and I quote, "It is our true policy to steer clear of permanent alliances with any portion of the foreign world, taking care always to keep ourselves by suitable establishments on a respectable defensive posture." Translation: mind our own business, build a strong defense, trade with everyone, fight almost no one. I want to interject. The United States of America is a collection of states, as in nation states, that have surrendered a portion of their power and sovereignty to the central government of the United States. The United Federation of Planets is also a collection of United Nation planets who work to build a strong defense, who foster trade, and put peace and diplomatic solutions as the priority.
Beverly, the Prime Directive is not just a set of rules. It is a philosophy, and a very correct one. History has proved again and again that whenever mankind interferes, no matter how well-intentioned that interference may be, the results are invariably disastrous.
Sound familiar? Because right before this, I read to you part of President Washington's farewell address. Not exactly word for word or beat for beat, but the message is the same. Mind our own business. That's the foreign policy DNA of the Federation. Think about the structure for a second. The United States began as 13 sovereign nation states, as I stated already, that voluntarily surrendered just enough of their authority to a central government so they could defend themselves, settle trade disputes, and speak with one voice to the outside world. They kept everything else, their laws, their cultures, their religions, their accents. The Federation is the same model, just scaled to planets. Vulcan keeps its logic. Andoria keeps its frigid clans. Tellarites keep arguing at the top of their lungs. Earth keeps jazz and baseball. They pool defense in the form of Starfleet. They pool diplomacy. Think Ambassador Sarek. They promise, above all else, not to reach down and rewrite anyone else's constitution just because they have bigger guns. A strong defense, but not to be used inward. Washington's farewell address is the Prime Directive in earthly clothing. He warns against the impostures of pretended patriotism. People who drag you into foreign quarrels that aren't yours. Lindsey Graham. Excuse me. He warns against permanent alliances that turn into entanglements, always getting involved. He warns most of all against the temptation of power, the belief that because you are strong, you are therefore entitled to meddle. 570 years later, Captain Picard, quoting the same principle, the Prime Directive is not just a set of rules, it's a philosophy, and a very correct one. History rhymes, and sometimes it does it in space. So when people ask, why didn't Starfleet just cure the plague on that pre-warp world? Why didn't they stop that civil war? The answer is standing in a 1968 television episode, staring at a tattered American flag, and it's also standing in a 1796 newspaper article signed by a Virginia farmer who walked away from being king. Both of them are saying the same thing. Let them write their own story. Let them fight for their freedom. Let them stumble. Let them fall. Let them get the words wrong for 1,000 years if they have to. Because the moment you write it for them, it stops being freedom and starts being empire. And that, more than phasers, warp drive, is the most revolutionary idea Star Trek ever stole from the American founding. Mind our own business. Trade with everyone, build a strong defense, fight almost no one. George Washington could have joined Starfleet tomorrow. He already knew General Order 1 by heart. Thank you for watching. If this connection between 18th century America and 22nd, 23rd, 24th century space hit you the same way it's hit me, drop a comment, share it around, hit the like button. Let me know your best guess which direction I'm going to take the Prime Directive next.